It looks like this. When you're driving and the cops get behind you, and even if you ain't do nothing wrong, you still feel nervous. That's exactly how I felt both times. So make sure you only put the number. And once you type the number in,
let's go!
Un saludito para todos mis amigos de Rake. Rake is the king.
Look, if you're traveling to Colombia from either the US or Brazil, there are 4 things you must know. You're gonna need at least 3 of them, so you better listen to all 4 before you even make your way to the airport. Number 1 is a return or forwarding flight. Return flight meaning you're flying to Colombia and then back to your home country. Or forwarding flight meaning you're flying to Colombia and then to another country. Either way, you ain't got to go home, but you got to get the heck up out of Colombia. No tienes que ir a casa, pero tienes que ir. Number 2, it probably should be number 1, a valid passport. Not a passport card, the actual book with the pages. It look like this. A valid passport with at least 6 months minimum of time left before it expires. Last year, I was actually in Colombia at the time I hit that 6-month mark, so I decided to renew my passport while I was in Colombia. If you'd like to learn about how to renew your passport while you're still abroad, drop a comment and let me know if I should make a video on that. Number 3 is the Check-MIG registration, which I'm going to show you step by step how to complete after we cover these 4 items. Number 4, if you're flying directly from Brazil to Colombia, you must have the yellow fever vaccine. It looks like this. Can you see that? And not only must you have it, you must have it at least 10 days prior to your transition. Meaning, if you get the yellow fever vaccine and then 5 days later you try to fly to Colombia, they will not let you board the plane, okay? I have 2 friends that tried and they both got denied. Don't risk it. Now the reason I decided to make this video is because I just arrived to Colombia 3 days ago and I realized that my airline's checklist did not have these steps listed. I just happen to know from experience that they were requirements. So be aware that your airline may not list all of the necessary requirements that you need to arrive to your destination country, and to always check the actual government's page for the full detailed information. When you arrive to Colombia, you have to go through migration and customs, right? The Check-MIG registration is Colombia's way of knowing where you're coming from, how long you're staying, and where you're staying, okay? This can be used for various reasons, one of which of course is for safety precautions. Should something happen and you need assistance, they'll know where to find you. On the alternative, if you violate a policy or break a law, they'll also know where to find you. So either way, you get out of it what you put in. Now the Check-MIG is found on Colombia's Migración website. Simply type Check-MIG Colombia into Google and you'll be able to find the link. Or Migración as pronounced. Now at the top, you'll see different options for languages. You got Spanish, English, and French. Something to note, if while you're in the middle of the process, you decide to switch back to another language, such as Spanish or vice versa, it'll force you to start over. So be wary of switching languages mid-process. Now once you get to the migration page, you scroll to the bottom here, and you'll see Do Your Check-MIG on the left-hand side if you've translated it to English. You click that, and it'll bring you to the next page, which asks you, how are you arriving? So on the left-hand side, you want to check that you're traveling to Colombia, and then on the right side, you just check air. Then we hit continue. Now you want to select your flight type, commercial or private. Then you're going to enter the city where you'll be landing, your first contact in Colombia, right? So even if you have a connecting flight in Bogota before you get to Medellin, for instance, okay, the city, the entry to the country is going to be Bogota in that instance, because that's where you're actually touching base, touching down. That's where your feet are touching the ground in Colombia. Then you're going to select your travel date. And after that, your flight number. Now you see here, I first tried to put in the flight number from my first flight, okay? Denied. Then I went back. I found the flight number from my connection flight, but the flight that actually lands in Colombia. Okay. Denied again. And then I realized, oh, You can't include any zeros or any letters. So make sure you only put the numbers. And once you type the number in correctly, it should automatically populate the flight route from origin to destination, as well as your airline. Next, you're gonna select the country of origin. Now this is where your first flight initiated. So in this case, it's United States, which in Spanish is Estados Unidos. And you're gonna select that same country on both sides. Then we're gonna hit continue. Now you have nationality. So this means, where are you a citizen at? Okay, I selected United States. ID type, whatever ID type you're presenting, which should always be passport, as well as your passport number. Then you enter your name and date of birth. Now the purpose of the visit to Colombia, if you don't have a specific reason, just select rest and recreation. That's the general tourism option. In my case, I'm coming here for a wedding, so I'll put concerts, events, or artistic activities, because I also might go to Afro-Colombia Fest, which if you know, you know. Then input your email and request your validation code. Once you enter your validation code and select continue, now here's where you put where you'll be staying. You select the city first, which in this case is Medellin for me, and then the address where you'll be staying. Now the phone number never quite works the way you expect it to. Okay, it did accept all of the digits of my phone number. However, as you can see, the formatting is all messed up. But we ain't gonna worry about that. As long as the digits is in there, we good. Let's continue. Now it's gonna ask you to confirm basically that you will be a responsible and well-behaved person while visiting their country, okay? Don't be on the bush. Once you confirm and agree, now here's something I need to point out. Whenever I complete the application in English, I always seem to get some kind of error message. Sometimes it actually won't process if the application isn't finished while in the original Spanish language. I don't know why, it's some kind of glitch. It's been there literally for years, since 2020 when I first started traveling to Colombia, and probably even before that, okay? But even though it gave me this error message, it did actually process this time, and I got an email notification with the Check-MIG registration. So as long as you've completed it properly and it did process, okay, you will get an email showing your registration and all the details that you entered. If you don't get that email, then it didn't process properly, okay? You might need to do it again, all right? But make sure you check your spam folder and all that good stuff just in case it didn't go to your inbox, etc., etc. Now, something you should be aware of, there are general rules to the timing of the Check-MIG registration. You must have it completed within 72 hours of your outgoing flight. So my best rule of thumb is to have it completed before you get to the airport. 2 out of the last 3 times that I flew to Colombia, I was requested to show proof that I completed this document before they even let me board the plane. And they called me on the intercom, Mr. Holiday, will you please come to the front desk? And you know that feeling, it's kind of like when you're driving and the cops get behind you, and even if you ain't do nothing wrong, you still feel nervous. That's exactly how I felt both times. If you have any questions, man, put them in the comments, please. And let me know if there are any other topics you would like me to touch on. I'm here to help. I'm here to serve. Love you guys. Have a good one. Today's objective is to check out 3 of the most top-rated pizza places in all of Medellin. First stop is going to be Pizzeria Centro. Amazon.